Hi, my name's Lizzie Breyer, and I'd like to talk to you about emotions and how important they are. um, yeah, emotions are so important for us. We need them all, you know. They are there for our survival. They help us read signals and they help us take action. They are vital to us, and I think what happens is, well, what does happen is that we learn at a very young age. Some of us thankfully don't, but many of us do get to learn that certain emotions are bad, that they're wrong, that they're gonna cause harm in some way, and it usually starts at a very, very young age. So we're not even aware of that. You know, you might look to yourself and go, oh, did that happen? You know, I'm not sure. But so for instance, you know, a baby may cry and the caregiver is not able to respond in a way that satisfies that baby. And if that keeps happening, ultimately in the end that signal doesn't work, so baby learns to just shut that signal off. It's also a way to keep the attachment with the parent or the caregiver, so it's an incredible sort of way of surviving and keeping that love. Or it may happen with anger. You know, the child may be angry and they're met with a sort of hostile reaction or fear or something like that. Maybe they're scolded, and again they learn very quickly that anger is not acceptable, and so they suppress that in order to stay within the family and keep that kind of close connection or connection. And you know, it may even be that there's certain pain that the parents already have and have suppressed, and the child will pick up, or the baby will pick up. I mean, they're incredibly aware. They pick up very quickly that that's happening, and they learn also to do the same thing. They learn that that is obviously not okay to have, and it won't be in the conscious mind. It's more of a sort of body knowing. So what happens when we start suppressing those emotions? Well, in time, if they're not sort of corrected, i.e. like maybe the parent changes the way or something very different happens so that they're met with comfort and support, then if it doesn't happen that way, defenses start to build. So you know, it's a defense to not feel the emotion, because we learn that that emotion is going to be met in that way with a bad reaction. Also what happens in those moments is there'll be beliefs, so we create beliefs about it. Like I was saying, you know, it's bad, it's wrong, but it's not it's bad, it will turn into I'm bad, I'm wrong, I'm the problem. You know, and so then it's mixed with shame, and so it kind of just builds up and up and up. You know, what starts with just, okay, maybe I can't feel that feeling, then turns into, okay, this feeling is bad, and then turns into I'm bad, and the shame, and the, you know, so the defenses start building. Defense to not feel it, defense to not go to that belief. And with defenses can come things like anxiety, depression. Sometimes a kind of shutdown. More extreme cases can be bipolar, I suppose even schizophrenia, something like that, where it's just, you know, you kind of become more and more detached from yourself, from your body, from those feelings, because you've learnt that it's not safe to have those feelings. And so what I wanted to talk about is that, so you often hear people talking about the emotion of anxiety, or the emotion of panic attack, or the emotion of depression, and my argument is that it's not an emotion. Actually, it's a state of being, because emotion is movement. So when you really do allow yourself, and you may have experienced that when you allow an emotion to come, it just moves through. You know, it's not stuck in this kind of perpetual thing. And I know for me, like many years ago when I was really suffering with panic attacks and anxiety, just being in this stuck state, and like there I was trying to sit with it and be with this feeling and thinking I was being with the feelings, and looking back I was just sitting with like symptoms. I was sitting with sensations in my body and sort of looping round and round and stuck in that sort of hyper aware adrenaline fight or flight state. When I learnt to be kind and gentle with myself and just other methods with myself, I was able to get in touch with the sadness that I had actually shut off for most of my life. I learned that crying was bad. My parents didn't tell me that, they didn't say crying is bad, but that's what I saw, so I learnt that. And I got very good at not crying and being tough. Interesting how we think it's tough to not feel an emotion, which actually is a survival mechanism. It's how we fully adapt in the world. So yeah, anyway, what was I saying? So, blimey, I've lost my train of thought. Got too excited. Yeah, that's right. So when I really was able to get in touch with my emotions, I think one of the first things I really got in touch with was this sadness and grief. And I remember this one time just sobbing, and I think I sobbed for about 40 minutes straight. And oh my god, the relief afterwards. It was like, wow, that's what all that was, you know, all this tension in my body. It just went away, you know, and I felt this kind of peace and quiet. Anxiety went and that was the beginning of my journey back into the body, of feeling, of having emotions again. And I'm not going to say it's easy, I'm still on it, but what I notice each time I allow it is this massive relief. Sometimes not, and that's usually because there's a load of story attached to it about what it all means. But yeah, I mean, that is the other thing that happens, is all these sort of beliefs that get loaded onto it, like it's going to last forever if I feel it, it will hurt others if I feel this, it will kill me, you know, I'll be lost in it, it will never stop. These are kind of beliefs that stop us from going there to have that emotion. You know, and then there's all the shame, like I was talking about, that comes with it. So again, sometimes it's that makes it harder for the emotion to move, or for us to just be with it, because if you've got all these thoughts like, oh my god, this is bad, this is wrong, I'm bad, you know, what am I doing, this is shameful, then of course it's just kind of slowing that process down or stopping that process. So it's finding a way also to be really gentle with yourself, to bring love to yourself, which is a whole other subject which I'll hopefully talk about, you know. But I hope that this is helping you understand. You may already know this, so sorry if you do, but I hope it's helping you understand how important it is for us to experience emotions. And what I've also found with this is it takes a lot of the fear and resistance out of negative, like, conversations, or, you know, like for instance, I was very into this kind of I was avoidant in general, and I still have some of this, so I'm still working on it. But there would be like avoidance of news, avoidance of anything negative, anything painful, and I still do that for sure. I mean, why should we need to blast ourselves with the news? Plus I think most of it is not true, but you know, but what I have found is that where I'm able to process this stuff, I'm able to be with others that are in pain and go deeper with them than I've ever been able to, and I'm able to experience the pain that before I would have shut off, that I saw in the world. And so it's kind of like, not only are you making more room for yourself, and you're kind of, it's almost like making peace with all those parts of you, but with that comes a sense of being able to do that more in the world. And it also means you're able to feel the joy and the wonderful things too. So it's really getting that balance, because it's all very well just thinking positive, but if you're doing it and you're trying to push down all this other stuff, oh my god, shouldn't feel bad, oh my god, I can't believe I thought that, you know, or that kind of thing, then, you know, that's hard work, and ultimately you're still rejecting yourself. You know, I've been there, I know what that's like just killing myself because, oh my god, I'm jealous, I'm not thinking positive, I'm not happy enough, you know, and just finding another way to put myself down. So to me, I just really see how it's so important, it's just so important to find a way for you to be able to experience your emotions again, for your body to come fully alive, and, you know, to do it in a way where it's not violent, not forceful, not, you know, not rejecting yourself, in a very kind of kind, gentle way. And yeah, and I suppose what I was going to say also is that I think what can happen if we don't do that stuff with things like anxiety and panic, and probably depression too, is we're kind of just looping. We can get to a place where we're like, oh, maybe I can accept panic and anxiety more. Okay, that's good. But if we're still just dealing with it all the time, that's really, really hard. And also what can happen is we somehow manage to kind of suppress the anxiety or clear it a little bit, and then it manifests as something else, like physical pain in the body. I do feel like those things that happen in our body are a cry for us to come back to our bodies and to those emotions, and it's about listening to that. I know once, many years ago, a friend of mine told me that when I started having the panic attacks, she said something like, you know, you'll look back on that and know that something good will come out of this, like you learned something out of this. And it's so true. Like, I never thought I'd say this, but I'm kind of really grateful for panic because if it wasn't for panic, I would probably never have gone down this road and turned towards myself and my emotions and found a way to, you know, and to go on the journey of discovery and learning, and to find a way to start accepting all those parts of myself that I brushed aside, that I tried to think away or to try and spiritualize away, you know, kind of just bypass anything painful and go up into the head. It didn't work for me. And yeah, it's just a lovely, you know, even now, like, it's just so lovely to not be in that constant kind of buzzing state of anxiety. That's not there. I have moments of it, but it's nothing like it was. And I feel very grateful to be able to now start being in touch more and more with my emotions. And I hope that helps you, and I hope that makes sense to you, and feel free to ask me more questions, or yeah, share how that is for you. Okay, thank you.